Hey everybody, welcome to the Week 10 online lecture for College Success Skills 100. This is our final online lecture of the quarter. So if you are watching this video and it's the first time you've watched one of our videos, congratulations, you watched a video. If you're just reading this on the PowerPoint, you're going to miss a couple of things, but this will be a really quick lecture, so that's the good news. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about advisors and counselors. Primarily the function that they play in college, both advisors and counselors, which are different for some of you. And also talk about tutoring, which is not a topic we've covered in depth up until this point. The reason is I didn't want you to just rely on tutoring as the primary college success skill. It's really a as-needed tool, not a definitive, you can use it for every class kind of tool. Alright, starting off on a good note as usual. This cartoon says I've decided to forego trigonometry and make myself eligible for the NBA draft. So this is a student talking to his advisor saying, I'm not interested in trigonometry, I'm going to go do something a little different. So possibly something you've considered at some point. But the role of the advisor is not to persuade you to take a certain class. It's instead to share with you the classes you need to take and help you get in the classes that are going to be most relevant to what you need to complete your degree, while also taking into consideration your own personal goals. Alright, so academic advisors. They, as it says here, provide guidance to students. That's vague, right? Well, it's a little bit more specific than you might think, because they are academic advisors. They provide advice to students, but they do not define what that advice can entail, other than it's kind of limited. Academic advisors are individuals who are assigned to you typically. You might have chosen your own because there is a self-select option, but they're assigned to you to help you navigate your degree. Okay, so that will include developing a plan for which classes you need to take to complete a specific degree or specific certification. They're also there to help you kind of get an idea for what kind of college processes you need to go through in order to register, withdraw, those sorts of things. The reason I say that their engagement is a little bit limited is because it's primarily related to your class schedule. Okay, so academic advisors are not going to necessarily have the tools, or may not have the tools, to tutor you in any one class, for example, or to connect you with any specific member on campus, because they may be, for example, a faculty member who is primarily engaged in their particular subject area. So it's really important to keep in mind that academic advisors are critical for you to be successful in college from a perspective that they help you plan your degree. Right? You can't start off college just kind of haphazardly taking classes. You could, but it's probably not going to end as well as you might hope. A lot of you at the beginning of the quarter said you were undecided, and a lot of that came from not probably even knowing that there were people on this campus available to talk to get an idea of what you need to do. So again, they're generally faculty to whom you're assigned. They may be a staff member rather than a faculty member. But generally they're faculty or teaching individuals who teach. Alright, so counselors. Counselors are more of a support role. Okay, they could be academic advisors. They can do everything that academic advisors can do, but they're not experts in that particular subject area. So you might have been assigned to a nursing faculty member if you signed up as being interested in going into nursing. Okay. Counselors may or may not have a background in exactly what a nursing student needs to be successful. They'll know exactly what classes you need to take to complete the degree, but they might not know which instructors at which time are more relevant for students who want to focus on this area of nursing versus another. They're much more general. Provide a lot of other resources to students that academic advisors may not provide as well. So they do the quarterly class planning. Academic advisors can do that with you as well. They help you map your degree completion requirements. Academic advisors can help you do that as well. And academic advisors, just so you know, are probably more available than counselors, because counselors are seeing the entire college. Academic advisors are seeing a small, selected group of students. Doesn't mean they're not busy and don't require an appointment to see them, but it means that you may be able to see them much sooner than you would otherwise with a counselor. They provide information about transferring to other colleges and universities, something that academic advisors might know something about if it's a specialized degree like nursing, as much about if it's something more general like your general studies associate's transfer degree and you want to go to University of Michigan.
Counselors are the ones who are well trained and well experienced in helping students get to that. They also help incoming students identify what classes and what credit they may have already taken, or what might be considered college credit that they wouldn't have otherwise considered. Okay, so AP test for any class, economics or history or geography or whatever. If you got any AP credit, these counselors might have helped you identify which classes that counted towards, so that you don't have to take those classes already because they're already done. Same if you're a Running Start student or have been a Running Start student. You've got college credit, it's going to transfer. They will help you know which classes it directly relates to, especially if you've done it at another college. Okay. They also offer some specialized programs. This is where the Counseling Center, I think, is most intriguing, okay? Because if you have any special situation that you want to consider as part of your academic experience, the Counseling Center very likely has a resource available to you that you don't have to pay for, that you might not even know exists. For example, disability support services. In the last class, we talked about test anxiety and how it's a diagnosable disability. Well, they don't, this group of individuals, these counselors don't diagnose disabilities, but they help you diagnose. Okay? So they're a great resource for students. Women's and life transition programs. So if you are a woman and you're struggling with women's issues, or if you are experiencing a life-changing experience relating to your gender, there is an advisor, Ann Zonkowski, who is amazing, and she can totally help you with that. Also, Margot Growth in Life Transitions over in the East Campus building can help you. So the Counseling Center helps you in those ways. Multicultural Student Services. We all have different experiences and identities, and we're going to be talking about that on Monday, that help us be a unique individual in a very diverse world. Okay, so Anita is a great counselor who can help you explore what resources are available to you as an individual who's multicultural, particularly if you have any identity within yourself that would be considered a minority identity. There could be scholarships or special experiences that you don't even know exist. Cooperative education, this is run by our new basketball coach. Actually, he's also a counselor, Brock Beltry, and he can identify different work experiences that you might be having that might be able to transfer into college credit by paying for a special course, sort of like a work-study program. So if you have something that you're thinking about maybe wanting to include as college credit, talk to him and see if it'll count. Veterans Resources, I know many of you are vets or have friends who are vets. This is a great resource available to them. It not only helps them identify what processes they need to go through to get veterans benefits on campus, but also what emotional resources and supports are available to students, especially who are struggling with PTSD or other common experiences that veterans sometimes have, especially if they're coming home from war. Learning into Action is a really cool program offered through the Counseling Center that essentially is very much related to cooperative education, but it basically defines learning communities. So some of you have talked about you don't know what it is, you're not in one, but if you're interested in joining one, you can see on the winter schedule, if you haven't registered for classes already, which are associated with learning communities. And that's where you take two different kinds of classes in one. and it's worth more credits, obviously. It's a little bit more difficult because you're doing more work in one particular class. But there are 1 to 2 instructors who are specialized in one area. A common theme I've seen is English with another class, like English with Geography or English with College Success Skills 100. These are called Learning Communities, Learning into Action Management, and Career Services. So for those of you who are looking for part-time jobs, or if you're about to graduate and you're looking for a full-time job, they manage a bulletin board outside of their office that lists all the jobs that have been promoted to them, but they can also help counsel you into the workforce, help you identify what common techniques are good in an interview, what your resume might need to look like in a particular field, what kind of experiences should you look for when you're looking for a specific kind of job. So awesome resource, and it's the one I saved for last because it's the one that almost all of you should be using regardless of what identity or background you have, because it's, again, available to you. Okay, so this student is doing a simple math equation and is saying, I need tech support. So let's talk a little bit about what kind of support offices can do for you in terms of helping you with a class that's difficult for you. Well, we already talked about counselors being great for the emotional support piece, right? They're good to help you talk it out. What are you struggling with? What can they do to help you through that class? College and Career Success Skills, CSS, all of those classes are managed through the Counseling Center, and they're taught primarily by counseling staff. I'm not a counseling staff, but I work with the counseling staff pretty regularly and helping students, advising students and helping them through some emotional things that can be barriers to their success in college. So almost all the CSS classes are taught by individuals who have that background. So when it comes to tutoring in a specific class, the counselors probably aren't the best place to go. The counseling center anyway. There are counselors on campus who are very good at these classes and can help you and can tutor you, but there are specific tutoring resources available. Okay? So the first is, if you're an eligible student for TRIO Student Support Services, and you know that because you would have already applied for TRIO by going into the TRIO office, getting an application, filling it out, and then getting an email or a phone call from the director of TRIO or from a TRIO counselor saying that you've been accepted in the program, then you know what resources are available to you. If you think you might be eligible for that, go pursue it. Generally, TRIO is available to first-generation students from low-income or minority status, okay? It's a grant-funded program, and it's not free money. It's money that is available to help students through classes that they would normally have difficulty with, okay? So it's a smaller counselor to student ratio and smaller tutoring to student ratio. So if you are a TRIO student, you have access to TRIO tutoring by the TRIO guidelines. But TRIO also offers tutoring for all students during drop-in tutoring hours. Their hours change every quarter. I won't tell you what they are now because it's going to change in 2 weeks. So go to L20, that's Lewis Hall 20, it's on the first floor. If you took the guided walking tour, you've probably gone by this. And look at their drop-in tutoring hours. It's posted outside the door, okay? They have specific subjects that they can offer tutoring in. Generally, it's math, English, there's more common economics, classes that require a lot more attention. Sciences, natural sciences is one. They do not do tutoring for all classes, so if you're struggling in a class, if you're looking for some feedback on a paper or just getting some information about what a good paper looks like,
hint, hint, for this class,
the Writing Center is an awesome resource, okay? They are not going to grade your paper, but if you give them enough time, they will read your paper and they will edit it and they will give it back to you and say, these are the things we recommend you change to help it be more English noteworthy, okay? Now, I'm not going to grade you too much on grammar and phonetics and all that stuff because you all may or may not be in English classes yet, okay? But the Writing Center helps you, especially with the sourcing and citing,
to make sure that your bibliography is well done. I've already read a couple of final papers. A couple of you have submitted them. They look great. Hopefully you pursued this or you already knew what you needed to do. If you're an English language learner or someone who feels that your English skills could use some assistance, it's offered in Lewis Hall 20 by sign up. Generally speaking, you have to be enrolled in an ESL class to pursue that particular resource. So if you're an international student or someone who's going through ABE program or who is just an English speaker, a low-level English speaker, you would know if you have access to those. And the final and I think most valuable resource for all of you is the online tutoring available through eTutoring. This is a comprehensive tutoring program. It offers tutoring in every subject that On-Ground Tutoring offers, but it's free, online, available constantly, and it's just enough. So please click on that link when you get a chance and check it out. See if it's going to be helpful to you. If it's not right now, it might be in the future.
So just keep this in mind.
Okay. So counseling services, again, separate from tutoring, separate from advising, or possibly linked depending on who the counselor and who the advisor is. They're located in the Cardinal Student Center. You probably walked by them when you did the walking tour, but I noticed that when I went in one group, the smallest group of the walking tour, we didn't go into the Cardinal Student Center, so you may not know where it is. It's right there across from financial aid, kind of behind the coffee shop. You can get there by appointment only. Generally, they're at least a week out for appointments, so at this point, you'd be looking at finals week or later. And they are available during daily drop-in hours, but you might not get in depending on when you show up for those. Usually there's a line out the door. Okay, so it's really difficult to get in. You have to plan ahead. You have to think ahead. This would be a really great tool to add to your calendar appointment, or make a couple of appointments at the beginning of the quarter, add them to your calendar, and know that they're there. This is their phone number to make the appointment. So 416-7654. And this is their email. It's checked more regularly than their voicemail. Okay. On Monday, we're going to be talking about how to map out your courses, or the courses that you need to take for the next quarter or for the next couple of quarters. I am not going to give you individual advising sessions. That's where your academic advisor comes into play. I wouldn't know what to do anyway. But we'll talk about how you can visualize your progression in classes and identify what classes you need to succeed in order to get into the next class in order to complete your degree on time, and identify how long it's going to take for you to complete your degree. The final paper is due on Sunday, December 8th at 11:55 p.m. I cannot accept any late work. That includes late posts. So this post that's due this Sunday, it doesn't really have an extension. It has to be in by the 8th. It's worth 250 points. To put that into perspective, each discussion board post has been worth 75 points. So this is literally 25% of your grade. It's important. If you don't turn it in and have gotten 100% on everything else, you can still pass with a C. But I'm going to ask you not to do that. I'm going to ask you to really put in some time and energy to complete this paper. Every point counts, okay? And getting an A in this class is a great step in pursuing your academic career. This class is much easier than most of your classes will be. I'll throw that out there. I give you extensions on deadlines. The content may or may not be too difficult. Some of it's applicable, some of it's not. I don't require you to memorize anything. With that being said, not getting an A could be very indicative of the kind of grade you're going to pursue in the future. So you need to take it seriously, you need to take the final paper seriously, and it's going to help with the study at the library, because I'm going to be sending Margaret the bibliographies. I'll talk about that more in class on Monday. If you aren't able to make it on Monday, I can talk to you individually about how your bibliography should be sent. Focus group of classmates that I assembled think you can't teach.
Some of you have expressed frustration with the class because you feel that its pace is really slow. Some of you have expressed frustration that it's really fast. Some of you said you like it, some say you don't. There's no 100% way to satisfy everyone, and I'll be honest with you there. But I am a fairly new teacher. I've only been teaching for a couple of years, so I've got a lot to learn, okay? And I learned that from you. This is where the teacher-student sort of dichotomy breaks down, and you give me feedback about what is needed. We're going to have the formal course questionnaire completed in class. If you're not able to make it on Monday, November 25th, then you will miss this. But you can still give me feedback anonymously through the Instantly account. The link is right there. It's also on the Week 9 Moodle information. That feedback is really, really valuable. The formal course questionnaires that we're doing on Monday, I won't get those responses back until sometime in the winter quarter, so I won't even know that you've completed it or not. I won't know if you've completed this because I set it up to be specifically anonymous. So I want to get feedback. I would never know if it's from you or from someone else as long as you put in kind of generalistic and vague responses. I want this feedback to help me improve the class, and I'm going to be giving this feedback to the counseling center so that they can improve the course curriculum overall. So if there's something you just feel is not good enough, let me know. If there's something you feel is really good, let me know so that I don't change it in the future. All right, everyone, that is our last online class. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy your family. If you're not going to be around family or friends, then make sure that you watch a good movie and eat some good food. Treat yourself right. You deserve it. And I will see you all on Monday the 2nd. Bye, everybody.